Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about Netcat. But before discussing Netcat, let's read a short disclaimer that this information which is presented in this video is only for information and educational purpose, and you're not supposed to practice it or use it for any illegal or malicious activity. Netcat. Netcat is a command line based tool that is used to read, write data over TCP or UDP connection. And this is also known as Swiss Army knife tool. It's very important. This is the reason that the name has been given to it, I think. So this can be used to create open door, and this can be used to transfer files between two machines. And there are many uses, but I have taken some of its uses, basic uses, which I'll be discussing and demonstrating in Kali Linux. So some of the uses which I'll be discussing here in this video are port scanning, banner grabbing, and port listening, and transferring files, and finally we will also demonstrate how to use this as a backdoor. Before moving to my virtual machine, that is Kali Linux, I'm going to show you the setup which this will I be using. So I have Kali Linux virtual machine in my VMware environment. You can have this in VirtualBox, and I also have another machine that is Metasploitable 2. And Metasploitable 2 is actually a vulnerable machine that is for learning purpose. So it's very effective security training tool. I would recommend you to download it and practice it. And I'll put the description to download this Metasploitable 2 machine in my description section. Okay, so now to demonstrate the use of Netcat tool in this Kali Linux machine, I have this virtual machine that is Kali Linux, and in addition I also have this Metasploitable 2 machine, and you can see after downloading and importing this in your virtual environment, we should have this window like this. So you can download it, and I'll put the description again in the description section. And you see here they have given the login details for this. You can see this is the MSF admin is the username, and MSF admin is the password for this machine. Maybe if you want to enter there, maybe MSF admin, I just have to click there, MSFADMIN, MSFadmin, and MSFADMIN. And now we entered there in this Metasploitable 2 machine. So first I want to show that what is the IP address for this machine, and for that I'm going to copy here ifconfig, and you can see the IP address for this machine is 192.168.133.68.66.133. and in the same way let me show you the IP address here. So that is here. This IP address is 192.168.66.138 of this Kali Linux machine. And to use Netcat, we just have to write nc, which is short for Netcat. And if you don't have this, for example, at the moment this shows green in color because I have this Netcat there, but in Kali machine most probably you will have this already installed. But if you don't have, then just you have to run this command, that is sudo apt and install, and then Netcat. It will install it on your computer. Okay, so this is simple. We can start, we can install it on our machines, but we already have, so I'm not going to install it. Let's delete this. And the first is we are going to scan. We are going to use this Netcat for port scanning, and for this we have and yes, before that, if you want to get some help from about Netcat, so we can just nc and -h, so it will display the help for us. And so we can have here help that this is first, for example, this is the version, and then if you want to connect somewhere, then this is the options and host them. But I mean, you can go through this one. Okay, now to scan certain computer with certain IP address, we have this command that is nc, and then we say -z. So -z indicates to only scan the port without sending any data, for instance. And then we have the verbose mode, -v. So verbose output for additional details. It will be giving additional details. And then we say that do not use DNS lookup. So this will speed up it. It will not go for DNS. And after that, we can give the IP address. For example, in my case, I'm working in virtual environment, so I'll be using IP address of this Metasploitable machine, and that is 192 192.168.66.133. After specifying the IP address, I can specify the port or port ranges which I want to scan. So for example, I'm going to say port numbers from 1 to 100. So this is the port range, and then we just press enter. So now you can see we got some scanning result. It says that on this Metasploitable machine, we have HTTP port open, 53 domain open, 25 open. So these are the ports which lies between 1 to 100 port numbers. After discussing how we can actually scan certain ports using Netcat, that's the second task which we are going to discuss is banner grabbing. So again, for this, to grab banner where we are collecting information about a target system. So to collect information about target system, again, I have the same setup. I have Kali Linux machine and I have this Metasploitable 2 machine, virtual machine. And then for this, on Kali Linux machine, for example, I want to grab banner of this Metasploitable 2 machine having this IP address. So for this, let's say on this Kali Linux machine, I will run only this command, that is nc, stands for Netcat, of course, and then I'll give the IP address of my target machine, that is Metasploitable 2, and then this is the port number. And so we want to grab banner grab for this port. So once we have entered this command, we have to press enter, and the next command will be, just let me remove that, we have to put this in head information, that is http/1.0, and then press enter, and then again we have to press enter, and then we will have our information displayed on screen. And now for banner grabbing for port or port ranges, we again have to use this nc, which stands for Netcat, and then we have to give the IP address. For example, in my case, as I'm using virtual environment, so I have this Metasploitable machine. I'm going to give IP address of this Metasploitable machine here, that is 192.168.66.133. There's the IP address of Metasploitable, and then I want to grab banner for port number 80. I'm going to specify here port number, and then we press enter. So this is for to grab, to grab banner, and then we have to use this command, that is http, head, then http, and then 1.0, and then we press enter, and then again we need to press enter, and this will give us information about the system, about the target system. So this Metasploitable machine, this my target machine, this is actually this is running an Apache server, this is an Ubuntu machine, okay, and this is also running PHP. So this is the information about target machine. We call it banner grabbing on port number 80. Third activity, we are going to configure port listening feature of this Netcat. So here actually we can configure these two machines using Netcat, so they can actually start communicating with each other like chat server. So for this, I have again two machines, Kali Linux and Metasploitable. So on Kali Linux machine, I will use this command, that's nc-l-p, and this is the port number. Yes, and this L stands for listen. So this machine, I'm making this machine ready to listen on this particular port. And we can also use this verbose mode here. So V stands for verbose, means it will be giving information and further details. So with this simple command, I set up this machine to listen, and then on this machine we'll say Netcat, and then give the IP address to which we want to communicate, this one, and then the port number, which is the port number which we set here. So this port number is same. Okay, so in this way, after this setup, you can see that if we type something here, that can be displayed here, and if we type something here, that can be displayed here. Like this will be chatting between these two computers. So the same text will be reflected on both the computers. Now we are going to use Netcat as a chat server, so that if we write something on this machine, on Kali machine, that should be seen at the Metasploitable, and if we write something on Metasploitable, we should also be able to see that text here. So for this, first I'm on an Kali Linux machine, and here I again write NC, that stands for Netcat, and then I ask them to listen, so -L, and then I specify the port numbers. So with -P, I'm going to specify the port number, and I'm using this port that is 1212. And in this case, actually, we ask Netcat to start listening on port number 1212. And then we just press enter. Now Kali Linux machine has started listening on that particular port. And then we go to Metasploitable machine here. And on this Metasploitable machine, we run this command, that is again nc. And then we specify our Linux IP address, that is 192. So that will be 192.168.66, and that is 138. That is the IP address of a Kali Linux machine. And then we specify the port number, that is 1212. And yes, then just we press enter. So now these two machines will start communicating on port number 1212. And now we can use them as chatting software, as chatting server. So to prove it, for example, I'm going to write some message here like hi friend, and then I press enter, and let's see, have we received this message on our Kali Linux. You can see we received this hi friend message. And we can maybe on from Kali Linux machine, if I say that yes, I have received your message. So this is something I'm writing in my Kali Linux machine, and when I press enter, this message will be sent to Metasploitable. And here you can see same message, yes, I have received your message. So this is how we can also establish this as a chat server. Now, how to transfer files between two computers using Netcat. This is something which I'll be demonstrating now. And for this, we have again Kali Linux machine, and we have Metasploitable too. So what we do here on the Kali Linux machine, this machine I'll be using as an attacking machine, and this is, let's say, this is the victim. Let's say this name. And then I want to transfer some files from this Metasploitable to Kali Linux machine. So for this Kali, I have to set this Kali Linux machine in listening mode with nc -L-p, and then the port number. And this is the file where we will be receiving the files received or sent from Metasploitable. Okay. So this will send a file with certain name which will be saved in this file. Okay, after this, on this victim's machine from where we will be sending the files, so we just have to again run nc and then give the IP address, attacker's IP address to which we want to send file. And now this is the file which should be available on this Metasploitable. So that file will be transferred to this file with this name. And sorry, here this is the sign we will be using here. So with this, let me remove this. So with this text file will be sent here. So this will send test.txt over Netcat to attacker. So this is the file which will be moving, which we are sending to this one. Now, how to transfer files? For this means Netcat can also be used to transfer files. For this, again, I have Kali Linux machine, and here I want to use nc to listen on certain port. So that is like nc -L-p, and then port number maybe I specify this time 1213 for instance. And now this Kali Linux machine has started listening. But here, yes, so and we go to our Metasploitable machine from where we want to send some file. So let's say we are going to create a file with the nano editor, that is the text editor. So for this, I'm going to write sudo nano and then test.txt and press enter. It's asking for password, so that is msfadmin, and you can see we have the nano editor there. And actually I have this file where I have written something. Maybe we can change it. We can put like this is to confirm that message has been received. Okay, maybe you can write any message, maybe spelling mistakes. Okay, But now I have made this file and I want to save it. So for this I have a command that is Control O and press enter to write this file again with the same name test.txt, and then we get out of from this file using Control X, and then we can maybe issue clear command. And if we want to verify whether this file text file has been created or not, we just use ls command to display this. So you can see we have these two files. One of them is test.txt. And if you want to verify the contents again, we just can just use again nano editor, and then we say test.txt, press enter. You can see this is the file which is there, and get out of here, then Control X, we are out there, and then we clear the screen. Okay, now we want to send this file which we just created to our Kali Linux machine. So for this we say nc, and they give the IP address of a Kali machine, that is 192.168.66.138, and the port number on which Kali Linux machine is listening. Remember that was 1213. And then we have to specify the file which we want to transfer. And for this we have this sign, and then we give the name of the file, that is test.txt, which we just created, and then we just press enter. And as soon as we press enter, this will start sending the file to the Kali Linux machine. And let's go back to Kali Linux machine to see whether we have received this. And you can see, yes, we have received the contents of that file, that is hi. This is to confirm that message has been received. Okay, actually we did not specify any file name here, but if we want, then we can specify a file name here. Then this file, this text will not be shown here, but this will just be saved in that file. Let me maybe I just show you here. Maybe for this I'm going to start again here. This is, I'm going to write here, the file may be my file, and so this time the text will be saved in this file, and my file.txt, and press enter. And then we go back here in Metasploitable. I'm going to maybe end this one, and again trying to send the same file, and with the same command. You can see this command was in my memory, just I with the up arrow key I could see this, and then press enter. And now this time again this will be sending test.txt file to Kali Linux machine, but this time that file should be in our file name which we specified here. So that is my file.txt, a file name. With this we should have been created, and that file we should have the contents which were sent by Metasploitable. And let's verify. So Control Z here, so verify this. And to verify this, I'm going to use this ls command, and you can see my file.txt file has been created on this Kali Linux machine, and in this file we should have the content which have been sent by Metasploitable. And to verify it, again let's use nano editor, and in this nano editor we use my file.txt and press enter. You can see we have those contents sent by sent by Metasploitable machine. Get out of this file, Control X, we are here. And the last function which we are going to discuss is launching a reverse shell, the backdoors. So in this case, we'll be creating backdoor on this machine, that is Metasploitable 2. And here this we can consider this as a victim machine. We are creating backdoor here. And for that, backdoor means, for example, we want to control this machine from this Kali Linux machine. Yeah? We want to issue maybe some commands. This Metasploitable machine will be under the control of Kali Linux machine when we'll be able to create a backdoor on this Metasploitable. And for this, we have this command, that is nc-l-p, and then this is the port number. So now this machine will be in listening mode, and this will be the port on which it will be listening. And then this is execute, and then bin bash is actually giving the bash shell where we will be able to issue commands. We'll be using commands there. And then on the attacking machine, we just have to again use Netcat, and we have to give the IP address of this victim's machine and then the port number to which this victim machine is listening. And this execute, so this is used to execute bin bash. This will start a bash command prompt, and this will allow hacker to execute command on this target machine. So of course we will be sitting here, but we will have a control of this victim machine, and we can issue certain commands here to control the operation of this metasploitable. So again, to demonstrate it, we have this Kali Linux machine which we'll be using as an attacking machine or attacker machine, and this will again be a victim that is metasploitable. So this is the victim, maybe I clear it. So for this, what are the simple commands which we need to issue? So for this, we are getting this machine ready. This is the victim's machine. So here we are creating backdoor that is metasploitable. So we need to issue some command, that is sudo and nc -l. So we are asking this machine to listen on certain port. So port this time we specify, let's say any port, like 5252. So on this port, this machine will start listening, and then we want to say execute, and then bash shell bin and bash. So this will start this bash shell for us on this victim machine, and then command is complete and we press enter. So now this has started listening on certain port, and then we go to attacker machine, and then this on attacker machine we just have to say netcat, that's by nc, and then we specify the IP address of our target, that is 192.168.66.133, and then we specify the port number, so that is 5454. So remember, this is the port on which maybe verify, so this is the port, sorry, 515252. This is the port on which this metasploitable machine is listening, so I need to change it 5252, and then we just press enter. And as soon as we press enter, we have the control, or we have access to the backdoor which has been created on this metasploitable, right? And now to confirm that we are on metasploitable machine, we can see that what is the IP address there. So for this, let's say run command ifconfig, and you can see this shows IP address is 192.168 and 133. So this is the IP address of metasploitable. But if you want to see the IP address of this Kali Linux machine, maybe I open another terminal, and if I write ifconfig, you can see IP address of Kali Linux machine is 138. But at the moment when we run this command here, in the next second window, here we have actually access to the backdoor, and what we see that is actually available on metasploitable, right? And then maybe we can run this command, that who is the user, for example, who's using this. For this we have this command who, and you can see this shows that msf admin. So msf admin, you can see this was the msf admin is the user of this machine, that's metasploitable, right? So then we can also see maybe files there, so we can run maybe some other command ls. You can see test and vulnerable files were there on that metasploitable. So now you can see we can access that victim's machine, that is metasploitable 2, using a backdoor which we created on victim's machine. And yeah, so this was the last use of Netcat which I wanted to show in this video, but there are of course many other uses of this Netcat. Maybe we'll discuss in some other video, but I hope that these some uses of Netcat may add in your information. And thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you in some other video.